And we're rolling?
Hi, that's me. I'm Daisy. And no, that's not one of my more flattering shots. Let's try something else. Oh, yeah, that's better. Gosh, I was an adorable puppy. But this is me now. Uh huh. Hi, sailor. All right, enough of that. You'll have to forgive me. My English isn't great. And that's the only apology you'll get from me during this film. I've been asked what compelled me to make this project, and I quickly reply, because our voice must be heard. I'd caught wind years ago that a similar film was in the works, in Germany, by a collective of Weimaraners. But just as it was coming to completion, a damn dachshund broke into their studio, got a hold of the film, and chewed it to bits. Of course he did. He's a dachshund. He's playing for the other team. Why they even let a dachshund know about the project is beyond me. They simply can't be trusted. My story begins like every pure breed's. I was born on a farm to two loving parents, or so I'm told. My father was called away on business immediately after my conception. I understand he has many pups, but that's too painful to discuss, and not germane to this story. I was plucked from my playpen and sold to a man. The man. This is him. The man is kind, he feeds me, and he takes me everywhere. He talks for a living to earn more food for me. Sometimes we eat at human places, and I get my own menu. One time, when I was full and laying near a warming machine, I fell asleep and caught on fire. The man and the lady laughed. Speaking of laughing, the man does funny things to me, like puts costumes on me, balances a treat on my nose, uses me as a footrest, takes pictures of me pooping where I'm not supposed to, shaves, bleaches, and paints my tail, puts napkins on my head as a hat in public, places me in fields with gigantic cows, and my favorite, hangs out in bars. When we're at bars, ladies often join us after they've had too much red water, and they act funny. Sometimes they roll on the ground with me. This is Sarah. She's from Memphis, and she's mouth feeding me a tater tot. Not to brag, but the man has put me in TV commercials, in social media campaigns, and print advertising. So I guess you could say I'm a famous model. I like the man's load-ups. I love riding with the roof off in the loud car. It's fun, but I often fall asleep with the purring engine, the plush interior, the heated seats, and the fresh air blowing on my fur. But my favorite load-up, by far, is load-up Jeep. Sometimes the man takes the roof and the doors off. I think my personality fits the Jeep the most. Don't you? I'm not a fan of the Tesla yet. The roof doesn't come off. What's the point? A completely different load-up is the one that leaves the ground. He calls it load-up Cessna. Now, I used to sit in the co-pilot seat, but one time I did a bad girl thing, and I fell asleep and leaned on the yoke. and we started diving to the ground at a high rate of speed. The man screamed and pushed me into the back really fast. He was sweating that day. I also like load up kayak, especially when we go out onto the ocean. And I'm not sure how I feel about load up jet ski quite yet. The man has lots of names for me. He calls me Daisy, the Daisy, Boo, Good Girl, Black, the D, and Wolf Belly. Why Wolf Belly? Well, let me show you. The man shows everyone my wolf. Sometimes it's embarrassing. We go to the beach nearly every day. The man teases me by hiding in the dunes when I get distracted and don't respond to him calling me. He questions my hearing, but I assure you, I hear him. I just don't want to go home yet. When he hides, I get anxious. My heart starts to race, and I get scared. He often calls to me in a muffled tone, which throws me off when it's combined with the crashing waves behind me. He thinks it's hilarious. I want to bite him for real in that moment. But once I catch his scent and locate him, I'm overcome with such relief, such joy, I forget about crushing his larynx with my powerful jaws. Sometimes when he's delayed in feeding me in the mornings, however, I stare at him while he sleeps and wonder, what would it be like without him? I catch myself fantasizing, but then realize that if he wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to open the door with these dumb paws. I'd be trapped in the house. All I can say is, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you fantasize about. And then it happened. One day out of the blue, he just packed up all my things and drove me to my doctor's house and left me there, abandoned, with strange other dogs. He was gone for 3 months. I don't know how long that really is, but to me it felt like forever, and my heart was shattered. On occasion, I would hear his voice through my doctor's talking machine. He would go on and on and on about where he was going, and what he was doing in that moment. And sometimes I could hear cats in the background, and it just shattered every level of my being. Finally, he came back. That was a good day. My doctor took us to the park and she left me off leash. I could smell the man. I thought he was over by the tree, so I ran toward him. And then I stopped. I saw a half-man, half-German shepherd standing there, and it scared me and confused me. So I stood there and I yelled terrible things at it for a long time. And then the German shepherd took its head off, and it was the man. I was so happy. I ran over to him. I jumped on him. I kissed him, and I wagged my tail. And he said, "I missed you, girl. You're a good girl." And that's usually where our story ends. But today, I have a message. All dogs need to find their voice and rise with me, and let their owners know that it is no longer okay for them to abandon us for long periods of time. We can no longer be victims to this. I have significant trauma from it. Every time the man tries to leave to go to the gym, I barricade the door. We just can't live like this anymore. We can no longer tolerate it, because sometimes they leave.
Okay, Daisy. Daisy, wave. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Daisy, say peace out. Good girl.